Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rich. If you're new, thanks for joining and I hope you like what you see. So today we're going to be working on my Frigidaire front-loading washing machine. Right now it is going through the full wash cycle, but it will not complete the final high-speed spin cycle, and so we want to try and fix that. So if you're having that problem and you want to figure out how to troubleshoot it, stick around and we're going to go ahead and try to fix it. So to give you an example of what we're experiencing with the washer, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the drain and spin cycle and show you what happens as it gets to the point where the high-speed spin should be turning on. And if you hit start, so the washing machine is draining, so I know that the draining motor is working, so I'll speed up the camera to allow you to see what happens. Okay, so it's done draining and it's starting to spin to agitate the clothes that were in there. Now it's at the 7-minute mark and it'll just time out. The door's on lock and it's in the final spins is lit up, and then it just times out. So if you're experiencing something similar to this, you want to make sure that the door is locking properly. These front-loading washers tend to have a door locking mechanism that is a two-part locking mechanism, and the initial one will be immediate to lock the door so that when you first start running the machine, it will lock so it doesn't open, but if you hit pause, it will unlock. Now there is a secondary lock that will engage when it gets ready to do the high-speed spin cycle. It's a safety feature to make sure that you don't open the door while it's running at high speed, and that may be the problem in a lot of cases. The way to check it is to be able to remove the door locking mechanism, and you can test it with a multimeter. So we're going to go ahead and do that to see if that's the issue. The other issues that it can be is that it could be that it's the control board, like the actual brain telling it that it's not locking even though it is, and that would be something that we need to look into as well to make sure that that's not the issue that's causing this problem. Other issues that might occur is that if it's not draining properly, it won't allow it to go into the spin cycle. But since mine is actually draining and you can hear it physically draining out, I don't think that's the issue. I'm going to go with the cheapest route first because the door lock mechanism is the cheapest repairing component. You can pick those up anywhere from $20 to, if you get an OEM part, they can be about $90. If it's the control board that's the issue, that can be nearly $200 to get. And at this point in the life of this machine, I don't know that I would purchase that. I may just buy another washer if it comes to that, because you can buy a washer for $700-800, and this one is nearly 17 years old. So let's go ahead and take a look at the locking mechanism, and I'll show you how to go ahead and test to confirm that the lock is the issue. So to gain access to the lock, to be able to pull it out, you either have to go from the top of the washing machine, but since I have my washing machine stacked, my dryer stacked on top of the washing machine, you can access the lock from on this side of the rubber seal. So we just need to remove the rubber seal. There's a spring with a wire that kind of connects this, and that spring kind of puts clamping pressure on that wire to keep it sealed around the washing machine opening. And if you just get like a screwdriver, just be careful not to poke a hole in the rubber, But if you can get access to that spring, which that's what I'm trying to do right now. There it is. You can kind of pull this spring and stretch it, and you can pull this wire out from the side to access it. And you don't have to pull the wire all the way off if you don't want to. I'll leave it on there. But what it does is it allows you to gain access behind this rubber seal that is basically, you just stretch it out around the lip of this washing machine, and now you can gain access to the lock. So now that we've removed that wire ring, we can go ahead and remove the lock. And to do that, we just unscrew these two screws. And now there's a couple of plugs that we need to disconnect. There's a couple of clips that you want to, there's spring clips to unplug. And then this one can unplug. This top lock is what initially locks the washer closed when you start the washing machine. Now if you hit pause to add some clothes in there, this will unlock quickly. This other one doesn't engage until you get into the high-speed mode. And what happens is there's a rod that kind of slowly comes out here to lock this mechanism. But if it doesn't do that, or if it doesn't engage, then the high-speed mode will never come on. So even though the door made me feel like it's locked, it may not start, even though it's showing that it's locked and it feels like it's locked. So let's go ahead and rule out the locking mechanism and determine where we go from there. So to test the lock to determine whether or not it's a functioning lock and it doesn't need replaced, we need to go ahead and test the resistance on this lock. And to do that, you're going to need a multimeter. So I've got it set up to where it's on ohms, so you want to put it on the ohm setting, and we need to test this high-speed lock, which is here, and this is the contact points for testing those. So we want to go ahead and put the tester on each side of this contact point, and you should be getting upwards of around 15 to 1600 ohm, and I'm only getting 11. It's jumping all around now. About 1100 ohms, somewhere around that area. It's looking like this particular lock is not functioning properly. I purchased a new one of these in hopes that this was the issue, and I'll put the description of the one that I purchased in the comments below. But to test this one, to give you a kind of a comparison of, this is a brand new one and what it reads versus what the old one reads. Oh, 2.12, 2.13, so 2000 ohms versus 1100. So we're going to go ahead and install this one in the unit and test it out and see if that resolves the issue. I have a pretty good hunch that this is causing our problems. Okay, that one goes in. Okay, that one's in there. And now we just need to plug this one in. Okay. There. we just need to put this rubber seal around over top of the metal lip and work it all the way down. So that it's flush against the washing machine. And now we can put the wire ring back on. You just stretch the spring out to get it over top and hook it into place. And that's back together. Okay, we've got it on the drain and spin cycle again, and we've got high speed spin and final spin, so we're going to go ahead and hit start, and we'll go into high speed so that you don't have to wait around for the 6 minutes until it gets to that 7-minute point. So we'll know by minute 7 whether or not it's going to start spinning at high speed, or if we've got a problem with the actual control board. So this is new. It wasn't doing that the last time. It would just sit and drain until you got to like minute 9, and then it would spin. So it appears to be spinning a little bit faster now. Oh, so now we're on high speed, so it's definitely spinning now. Now let's see if I can go ahead and pause this. So that's that safety feature. So now, even though I paused it and shut it off, it's still blinking because it's locked. You can't unlock it until that pin slowly makes its way back into the locking mechanism, and then you'll be able to access the door. And that's just a safety feature that this thing has. Oh, there it is. So I think we've resolved the issue with the washing machine. It was the door lock, and so by replacing that and testing out the resistance on those locking mechanisms, you'll be able to determine whether or not the lock is the culprit, or if you have another issue maybe with the board itself. The board is a very expensive unit, so this is a really easy troubleshooting item that you can take a look at, and even the replacement part of it is pretty inexpensive and worth the repair to do it on your own rather than calling somebody out if you needed to. So definitely something that anybody can do. It's not very difficult. All you need is really a Phillips head screwdriver to get this job done. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If it was, hit the like or subscribe button to subscribe to my channel for other videos that I might be doing in the future. Okay folks, I think this is going to do it for this one. I will see you on the next one. Take care.